Are there any policy positions that could limit genital cutting without having significant blowback, like more cutting performed by those without medical background?
I think that the main thing that needs to happen at this point in the discourse is just a really honest conversation that's not based on cultural bias, racism, colonialism, and hypocrisy. So right now, the entire discourse is dominated by basically US actors who have a cultural practice that started in their own country for anti-sexual reasons, that was then persisted and became medicalized and created this veneer of civilization painted over the top of it. And then because it became a social norm, it's invisible to people. It doesn't seem like a problem. And so these actors have considerable power in passing policies, in shaping the global research agenda and the global human rights agenda. And what they do then is that they wag their finger at the cultural practices of other groups and contribute to racist stereotypes about these groups as backwards and barbaric without first taking the plank out of their own eye. So I think the first thing that needs to happen is people in positions of power in Western culture need to make sure they have their own house in order by making sure that they have very strict protections for the human rights of children within their own borders before they spend billions of dollars of research money marching into Africa, doing horribly uninformed anthropology, imposing structures of interpretation that are based on Western assumptions onto diverse ethnic groups that are doing genital cutting for all sorts of different reasons, and that are always doing it, if it's done to the girls, also to the boys. Maybe there's a conversation to be had. I think that should be led by local dissenters. I think that people within Africa and Southeast Asia and the Middle East who are trying to fight for something like an autonomy framework, or for the ability of children to consent when they're old enough, if that's what they want to do, I think they should be supported. But what's happened is, starting in the 1970s, the vast majority of this conversation has been led by white Westerners who are from genital cutting cultures, but it's just a form of genital cutting that they're used to. And so they've shaped the policy agenda, they've shaped the research agenda, they've shaped what gets studied and how, and they've shaped what everybody thinks they know in the popular discourse for something like 30 years. But among scholars who specialize in this area, it's already just wildly apparent that the popular view is uninformed, and that it will be unsustainable, and that it's no basis for having protections for children, girls or boys, that will be able to withstand scrutiny.